Hello, everyone. I hope you all are safe and healthy. And good morning and welcome to our Microsoft Teams Trilogy series, third session, Innovating with Teams, facelifting the entire communication and collaboration landscape for your business. I'm Shivani. I drive marketing functions at Embee, and I'm your webinar host today. Before we begin, I would like to thank each one of you who have been closely following our Trilogy series and are joining us for all the webinar sessions. Thank you to you all for making this a success with your presence. The whole purpose of this webinar is to empower organizations with powerful communication and collaboration tools and platform and helping them to be prepared to gauge maximum productivity in the times of remote working. With us today, we have Neeraj Kumar Pandey, who is a M365 Teamwork certified professional, and Neeraj has successfully run over 1,200 batches of Teams adoption training sessions and has trained more than 20,000 users on Microsoft Teams. Neeraj will be driving today's webinar, which is focused around demonstrating innovating with teams and how you can integrate AI and chatbots, language translations, integrating with external devices, and creating apps and workflows within teams. I'm sure today's session will wow you all as Teams users, so stay tuned right in. For people who have joined anonymously, please mention your names and organization name in the Q&A section on the right side of your screen, which you can also use for sharing your questions, and we will be addressing them in the Q&A segment of the webinar. So let's get started. Over to you, Neeraj.
Thanks, Shivani. Thank you for that introduction, and good morning to all of you who have joined for this session. Okay, so let's get started with today's session that is completely innovating with teams. Okay, so what we will discuss in today's session, we will discuss about the innovation that can happen over Microsoft Teams app, where you can first we'll look out what are the AI that are inbuilt in Microsoft Teams and being given to us or by the to the users to the end users by the Microsoft, as in what AI capabilities are present in Microsoft Teams. And then we will also see a couple of chatbots that are available freely, or else I'll show you one of the application that can be easily integrated with your Microsoft Teams. We'll discuss about that. We'll see how multiple languages can be also used while communicating with your team members if you are spread across the globe. So there are around multiple languages that are supported as of now. So if you write anything in Spanish, or if any person writes in Arabic, you can convert it, you can translate it to your local language in which your application has been installed. Integration with devices, we have already seen this. It's about all the meetings devices that have been available by third party vendors, that is Polycom and then Crestron, and so on. So there were multiple applications that were multiple vendors that have a partnership with these vendors where they can integrate your on premise or been which are using and currently for the voice solutioning directly into Microsoft Teams. So PSTN again depends depending on the region, on the country that you are in. So currently in India, only Tata supports for PSTN and PBX integration with Microsoft Teams. And lastly, last but not the least, apps and the workflows. We have been using this for the past two sessions, and we'll also see what are the things that MB has created for one of our organization, where you can easily convert a particular conversation into a task or into what we can say a question or a post directly into some other third party applications, a third party line of business application which you're using on your day to day life. But before I start with today's session, there was one small topic that we have missed in the last session, that was about the live event. Okay. So let me just pull up the screen on for the live event. So what basically is a live event? Live event is used for a big town hall meeting where you can have more than maximum people you can have is 10,000 attendees. Okay, now consider this that your MD, your organization's MD or CEO wants to address the whole organization, or he or she has to give you some certain information or some kind of a preventive measures and then kind of an inspiration, a speech to all of you. So those kind of scenario is the perfect place to create a town hall meeting within the live event. Okay. Now live event helps you for to address one. It's a one-way communication where only the presenter or the producer speaks, and the producer is the one who manages everything. It's the control of the producer who decides what has to be shared or what has to be presented the next once the speech has been over by the CEO or the MD, whoever it is. Now, how do you manage or how do you host a live event? You just click on this drop down, you go to your calendar, you just click on this drop down, and there's an option of live event. Okay, and when you click on live event, you give the title, like for example, I will say, mm, okay, now here you can put any title that you want, and then here comes the very important aspect, that is you are about to invite a presenter. As a best practice, make sure that you make keep always one presenter and one producer in any of the live event that you're hosting. Okay, so basically, producer is the one who manages, and the presenter is the one who is speaking. So, taking a best example of it, where I am the one who is the presenter in this particular live event, and then Shivani is the one who is managing the whole live event from the back end. So, if anything, like if I wanted to show the video of mine, she will decide whether the which of the screen video will get displayed, and then it will be visible to all of you. Okay, so she's the one who will take care of all the Q and A's, muting all the presenters, then you know checking the bandwidth if there is any announcement to be done. So she's the one who will take care. That is the reason, as a best practice, always keep one of the producer in a particular live event. Now I will invite a presenter. So here you can change the role anytime you want. You want MOD administrator to be the presenter, you can do that, or else vice versa. By or clicking on next, you have the options readily available: people and groups, org wide, and public. Now in people and groups, you can create O365 groups, and for specific set of users, if you want to host a live event, then you can also do that. But first, you have to make sure that those groups are already created, okay, from the backend. And once you once those groups are created, they can be populated over here. So if I can say, let's say if I'm able to get anyone, yeah. So here it is the name of the person it is coming. Let's say that if there is any O365 group, it will get pop up over here. Otherwise, you will not get that option. Org wide is the one where you address your whole organization. If it is less than 10,000, well and was it will work properly. It will work seamlessly. But what if the numbers are more? So as of now, you can host two separate live events for separate users, and or else you can wait for some time where Microsoft will increase this number from 10,000 to 20,000. Okay, so the live event capacity is going to get increased from 10K to 20K. So we have to wait for a while for that feature or that limitations to be increased for a while. And the last option is about the public. Since again, by default, the public live event is disabled by the organization. You can ask your organization to enable it from the backend. This is the place where you can introduce people who are not from your organization. Okay, here you can decide if it has to be hosted on a global level, or if you want to address your vendors or your clients, or your distributors or your contractors. So this is the perfect time. This is a perfect option to choose for. So we have created a public live event by selecting this option and then scheduling it. Now going a little, scrolling down, there are multiple options that will be available. So here you can see recording is by default enabled. Okay, recording is by default enabled. But again, the IT administrator can decide if this thing has to be stopped or not, if it has to be allowed to the producers or not. Recordings, whether the recordings are should be available to the attendees. Now this is what the attendees can watch. Okay, it is not that they will download this video, it is only for viewing, no downloading for the attendees. You can decide the captions. Now let's say that if you are hosting a live event from uh, from India, and your participants are across the globe. So you might have to consider about the languages that people will be joining from across the globe. So let's say if you have participants from France, then Chinese, then China, or maybe Spanish, Spain, Portuguese, and so on. So what you can do, you can select the spoken language that you would be using. Okay, and what you can do, you can select the languages that has to be translated from English to some other languages like African, South Arabic, Bosnian, Bulgarian, and so on. So there is a Hindi from India there where you can convert your live captions to be converted automatically into Hindi, but these will not be the audio, these will be the live captions, a kind of a transcript that will get displayed over the video. Okay, so that is that you have to understand about it. Fair enough. One, if you again you can decide whether you want to keep this or not. Last two are the attendee engagement report and the Q&A. So to see how many participants have joined, and it gives you a proper an engagement report from which browser that person was using, whether it was an app, what time the person joined in, what time the person went out, and so on. And then whatever the questions have been asked during the report, it will get populated in Q&A. And then you click on schedule. Okay, now let's see if you can join this. I cannot join it from a browser, so make sure that if you are hosting a live event and if you are joining as a producer, okay, so a producer or a presenter role can be only utilized by opening it in the web, not in the web, but in the desktop application. Okay, currently web browser does not support presenter or the producer role. You will be only joining as an attendee from the browser. Okay, you cannot do it from your browser. So this feature will only work when you have a desktop app. Fair enough. So that was all about live event. Now let's move back to our main today's session. That is all about the AI and the capabilities that Teams is have. Let me move back. Yeah. So AI in Teams, how it can be very useful. So how are Microsoft evolving Teams to make it even more powerful hub for teamwork? So one of the key investment area for Microsoft is artificial intelligence. Now, by harnessing the power of AI, they have an opportunity to amplify human capabilities and growing human ingenuity. It is not about it is not always about human versus machines, but for Microsoft, it's about humans plus machines. Okay, plus or humans plus machines versus the problem that they are facing on a day to day, on a daily basis. Now, by harnessing the power of artificial intelligence in teams, Microsoft have an opportunity to really transform how people can collaborate and communicate, making their experience more insightful, proactive, and adaptive. Now, what are the envisioning thing that AI can do for you and for your users? So, what if just imagine what if teams could leverage AI to provide you with insights directly in the context of a chat or a channel right when you need it? What if those insights were proactive so that you don't need to search for the information? Imagine, let's say, imagine Sudesh has asked me to share his this particular presentation with him today. Wouldn't it be great if teams could analyze the conversation and enable me to share the link with one click with Sudesh without me having to search for it? So that would be an amazing thing that where depending on the conversation that me and Sudesh were having, it will automatically detect that I have to share the tech with him. So what if all of these capabilities were adaptive based on which device you use and based on your active history, so that you have truly personal experience? So don't you think this would be an amazing, uh, amazing thing that have been turned around the table when these things start getting integrated with Microsoft Teams? Moving on, we have we have unparalleled foundations for AI. That is Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph is basically a single place where they use it for creating the analytics. Okay, so in order for an AI to power great experiences, data is very important. It's not important, I would say, but it is very critical. So, and this is where Microsoft has an unparalleled foundation with the Microsoft Graph, a vast data set that is truly unique, powerful, and secure. So the Microsoft Graph is a connected brain of world knowledge, organizational knowledge, and individual knowledge. The signals in the graph, okay, the signals which you are seeing in the graph across comes are being captured from Bing. They are captured from Office 365. They are captured from Windows, where if you are using Windows Enterprise 5, okay, and it also enables ground breaking possibilities for customers because they span the world around us. They span the world around us. So our daily work, business applications, and the user data. So these are the places where things have been taking place by using Microsoft Graph. Okay, now we have Microsoft has 450 billion user authentications each month. Okay. Now this is not for Microsoft Teams. This is by Microsoft Graph. Okay. So this is the place where your signals are hitting each and every month. So there are around 155 million Office 365 users and over 1 billion meetings that are happening each month with O365. Now these are all signals that Microsoft used to make the system smarter and surface insights so that customer have a better experience. So it's just a fact that you can see Microsoft Graph. What can Microsoft Graph do? You have this capability of using Microsoft Graph on your system as well. With the help of a Visual Studio, with the help of Graph APIs, there are things that you can achieve in Microsoft Teams as well as with other O365 components. Now, what are the AI in Teams right now? Now, while some of this still are in the works, I believe all of them are readily been rolled out in Microsoft Teams today. So I will also share you one of the great story with Microsoft Teams in this. So we Microsoft has already have AI powered capabilities in Teams today. So here you have inline message translation that allows you to translate messages in channels and chat. So into almost 40 plus languages. With a simple click, people who speak different languages can fluidly communicate with one another, ensuring that every worker in the team has a voice and facilitate uh, global collaboration. Now meeting recording and the transcription has been powered up by Microsoft Stream, which we have discussed in the previous session, and it enables all the team members to easily catch up on missed meetings, as you can read the transcriptions, or we can call it as a captions, search within the conversations, and play back all of the part of the meeting, which whenever and whichever device you required. You have a mobile companion mode where teams Teams where your Teams application picks up if you are in a meeting room or suggests that you can use your phone as a companion device. So you can, for example, advance slides from your phone directly. So you don't have to rely on the laptop devices that you're using. And with the background blur and the visual effects that background effects that Microsoft has came up recently, you can blur them, you can utilize whichever you want during a video call to ensure professionalism meetings on the go or avoid possible disturbances in the background, which I discussed in the last session, where noise suppression is about to get introduced in Microsoft Teams. So, this allows other meeting attendees to focus on you, not what's behind you. Now, this photo which you're seeing over here, there was a video that went viral, a couple of weeks ago, where he is attending the meeting from his house, and his kids start playing from the background. Okay, so what Microsoft did? Microsoft has taken this video and created a team background example for this particular video, and now you can see here that kids are still playing behind his, in the background, but they are not visible because due to this blurring background capability, he is able to join that meeting very professionally with the other with his team members. So that is what all Microsoft AI, Microsoft Teams are capable of doing by with the help of AI. So we have, this is the Microsoft Teams platform, so that you have these productivity applications. If you wanted to do a low code development and an automation process, we have Power Automate, Power Apps, and Power BI. There is one more piece that have been added into this, which we'll discuss as the session progresses. Process and custom apps, departmental tools, employee resources, and these two things are also possible. But what is great about this is they all comes under a single application or single. They fall under a single app, which we call it as a Microsoft Teams. Now, what are the unique capabilities for unique set of scenarios? Interface. These are the things that you see in the front end. What are the things that are making these interface very intuitive? So this is the backend that has been used in Microsoft Teams, that is Azure, Graph, SharePoint, Power Apps, Flow, LOB applications. Now they all are interconnected with each other. Okay, you don't have to worry that whether this thing can be integrated with that or not. The only thing is that we have to check if what is the correct way to connect with those applications, with those interface and the backend that you are going to utilize. Now you can integrate your applications as well, but it has to be very important that the user has to be authenticated first by while calling that application or calling that LOB app that you are going to use. So for that, you have an option of authorizing that user by using Azure Active Directory, where you can register your team's app ID with this. And what will happen as soon as it has been registered with the app ID, it will ask you for sign in. Okay, it will ask you for some information that you have to authenticate first for accessing this particular application. So once this thing is continued, once the user has been identified, you can start using application directly from Microsoft Teams. Then what are the commands and actions that are available in Microsoft Teams? It helps you to complete the tasks while in the flow of their work. You don't have to switch the window from one application to the other. Here it's a messaging extension. With the help of messaging extension, I can use them. I can add a particular contact. I can see all these lists from the SharePoint, and then I can add them wherever I want. You can compose a box where it has a predefined templates, predefined commands that are available. You can give the leverage to your organize or to your end users. And then there's a command box. By at mentioning, it will pop up all the commands. Here you can see a task module to collect user input or a surface richer information. Now, what are message actions? We have, let's say that you wanted to convert this particular conversation into a task or into some kind of you know as a post. What we can do, it can be connected with multiple places. So this comes with message actions. You can create an issue, that's a Jira. You can create a task, or you can create a work item by just pressing on the three dots and then going for more actions. Then you start seeing this. We saw this in the last session where we understood about what are the things that can be integrated with Microsoft Teams. Take actions directly, kick off a workflow, and append the result of the action. So the link unfurling, if you share a link in Microsoft Teams right now, it is looking like this. But if you wanted to take it one step ahead, so these things are also possible where you can create the issue directly from the GitHub. Okay, so those things are also possible by message extensions and message, you know, uh, text messages over in your Microsoft Teams. Combining your actions into bot and interacting with them. So with the help of this particular poly, we can create a bot like this. So if you ask any question, if you click on that poly, it will open your window of poly, and then here you can write whatever you want. Put it. It will create a poll like this, and then you can send it across multiple channels or whichever teams that you are looking for. Now, collecting inputs from the user can be more intuitive and very simple. This is with the help of Manifest Editor, we have created a small a window to input information with no code, absolutely zero code coding system, and the low code use an adaptive card, and then for custom development we have created a web view based approach. Now, all these things can be done by either any of the professionals, IT professionals, development, or normal, or even a normal user. Now, let's discuss about the complexity, the complex challenges that a normal user faces, the normal organization faces. Okay, so the first is 66% try to use self-service first rather than contacting an agent for assistance. 59% of challenges are managed in silos, and the 90% of customers expect consistency and continuity across the challenges. Okay, now these can things be achieved by creating a very simple chatbot or as a virtual assistant. But what are the challenges that we face while creating a chatbots or virtual agents? Okay, bots are hard to create and expensive to maintain. Now, everybody who is using a virtual assistant in their organization, in their website, they might be relating this thing. Now, there's a friction between SME and with the answers and the developers and the scientists who will create the bot. And sometimes you feel that bots are not that much useful unless they can integrate with the backend and provide personalized answers. Completely agreed. For that, Microsoft has introduced one application to its Power Platform suite. We call it as a Power Virtual Agent. Okay. Now, with the help of Power Virtual Agent, what are the things that you can achieve? It's a very simple and intuitive tool where you can integrate with any of the applications from behind. It helps you to engage with your customers and employees conversationally, just like somebody's talking to a human. Resolve routine issues easily. It can democratize AI where you don't need an AI expert. The only thing is it has an interface, and at the back end, those things are being taken care by the AI machines, which has been deployed by Microsoft. It keeps on improving every day, and here you can take actions quickly. So this is the piece that have been added to the Power Platform. We call it as a Power Virtual Agents, which can be connected with multiple sources as well. So now Power Virtual are agents are being designed for everyone, your customers, subject matter experts, or IT admin and device on the development. Let me show you a demo on this, as in how Power Virtual Agents are coming into picture. So here you can see I have created one sales. Just a second. Okay, you can see this, right? Now let me show you how you can create, how you can integrate it with your team. So what I have done, I've created one PVA of sales support, and I will ask for some question, let's say greetings. So it will check what it has to be replied to the users. So there you can see. Now I will ask him. I will ask the agent a question. When are you closed? It will give me the business hours, the store hours, as in on what time the business store is open and what it is, and when it is closed. Now, if I ask him, are there any stores around? Okay, so it asks me whether in which location I am interested. So I can decide which is the closest location to me. I can say Redmond. As soon as I say Redmond, it will give me the address of that center of the store, and then I can decide, to buy items. As soon as I click on hit buy items, it will give me the response as in which state I would be like to ship. I will say California. It will ask me what do you want from California. So it is storing all your data in the backend that yes, your state is California, your the location closest to you is Redmond. Now what I can do, I can select what I want. I will say gaming computer, and it will add this thing into my cart. Okay. Now that has completed my the buying a particular product. Similarly, you can create your own Power Virtual Agents by going into powerva.microsoft.com and sign up for it. The licensing is separate for Power Virtual Agent. It does not comes with your ongoing or whichever licenses you have. You have to buy it separately. Okay, and then you can integrate it with these many channels directly from your Power Virtual uh, Agent website. So you saw how intuitive it was. It is very easy to integrate your Power Virtual Agent into your Teams application. Okay, and we also discussed in the last session that how Team Microsoft or how MB has integrated the LOB applications and created a bot out of it if they have to create a purchase order or a sales order directly from the Teams app itself. We have also integrated with our Octane. So if I ask Teams that is there any leave pending, I have to apply for a leave. So it will first check whether is there any leave pending, how much leave I have in my in the backlog. It will it will give me a details in a proper way. Then I can apply for a leave directly from Teams. So it has been integrated with our HRMS solution. And then you saw that how things started working in the in the Teams application itself. So the real life business scenario I would give you is about the HRMS solution, where all the manual processes for all the website portal which we used to go and create, those things have been eliminated, and directly from Teams application we have created or integrated the bot to apply for leave, to apply for outing station, for travel uh, out of Bombay, and so on. So these things are also possible from an integration purpose. And then again, depending on your requirement, we can integrate your LOB applications. So right now we have, okay, so I think it's time for Q&A. Yeah, so Shivani, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Neeraj. Before we move to Q&A, Neeraj, I would like to inform participants that if they wish to move to Microsoft Teams, if they're currently using any other collaboration communication platform and they wish to move to Teams, you can reach us out with your request or queries at connect@embee.co.in. I repeat, connect@embee.co.in, and we'll be very happy to assist you. All right, so starting with the first question, Neeraj. So Rajesh is asking if they can get access to the presentation that we are sharing here. So yes, Rajesh, that can be shared on request. So I'll just make a note of it and I'll make sure that you receive it. Uh, Next, we have do organizer and presenter. Okay, so that means producer and presenter both need to have a particular license for holding a live event. Neeraj.
Yes, the answer is yes. You should have a license. Firstly, understand a live event will be only accessible or can be organized if you have the enterprise license. Okay, E1, E3, or E5, or M365 E3 or M365 E5. You will not get live event in business, essential, or premium. Secondly, to host a live event, you should get a license for even though if it is a producer or a presenter. So both the both the role will require a license. Yeah, Shivani.
Okay. All right. Which subscription of Teams should we subscribe to if we want to? Okay, so this question is from Dr. Vineet, and he has been following us in most of the webinars that we've been doing, and he's asking Neeraj that which subscription of Teams would we need if we want to integrate AI and chatbots in multiple languages that you have been talking about throughout the session.
See, chatbots can be integrated again. It is not about the subscriptions and the licenses. It's all about the integration from your third party LOBs. Like for example, if your LOBs does not support the REST API which we need to call from a particular application for getting the information, then even though if you have E3 license, it will not work. So even though if you have a business premium or business essential, the development will come into the picture where it will, even though if you have a business premium also it will work. So not necessary that for integration you have to go for enterprise. The only thing difference between a business premium and enterprise is business premium is limited to 300 users only, wherein in enterprise SKUs you can buy unlimited licenses. That's the only difference. Then you cannot buy more than 300 business premium or business essential. Okay.
All right. Next question we have from Yogesh, and he's asking, what is the maximum size of recordings we can store on MS Teams?
The normal see the right now the normal meeting and the normal live event can host up to 4 hours of meeting. Okay. Now I guess Microsoft Teams has increased the size for live event. Okay, but I'm not sure because there is no article stating that while you start the live event you get an option of that the live event will continue to run for 16 hours, but there is no the no statement from Microsoft, but the maximum is 4 hours as per their portal, as per their the documentation, even if it is a normal meeting or even if it is a live event. So 4 hours is the maximum.
Okay. Next question we have from Sanjaya, and they're asking, in security point of view, ports and services required to allow in firewall for Microsoft Teams deployment, and how to calculate the bandwidth requirements for Teams deployment for a user size of 300.
That's a great question, Sanjaya. The basically the first is about the firewall. There are certain IPs and FQDNs that has to be opened. There are certain port numbers that has to be allowed on the firewalls. But again, that will come into picture if you are accessing from your network, from your organization network. Okay. Secondly, depending on the there are things called as network planning and network assessment when you deploy Microsoft Teams. But again, that will come into picture if you are deploying within from the domain join machines. Now, let's say that you want to roll out Teams directly right now. Okay. Now, again, it depends. It depends in which place people are accessing your the devices. Now there are certain places where right now the broadband connectivity, you know how poor it has become during this COVID outbreak. Okay, so now there are certain things that can be used called as network planning, where you can decide how many users concurrently will be using video calling, audio calling, screen sharing, then then taking remote control. So those things can also be planned. There is a option in your Teams admin portal where you can see the network planner option, and you can profile your users accordingly. And then there is a network assessment tool where you run a particular tool for, every 2 hours you take a report of that, and you check if there is any jitter, if there is any packet loss. You have to allow certain TCP. You have to allow TCP and UDP packets on your firewall so as to seamless working of your the traffic to flow from your device to your Office 365 portals. So these things can be done.
Okay, Neeraj, there's one more question from Sanjaya. And if guest access and external domain access is given, is there any challenge for data security?
There could be. Again, it depends on how you allow that external guest user in your organization. Okay, there are certain best practices that has to be followed while you add a guest user in your organization. There can be certain, with the help of some security licenses, you can control how much data your guest user should access. And then while you there is a guest access option also in your Azure Active Directory where you can decide uh, uh, on what data, on which data the guest user should be has rights to. And again, when you add a person into your team, from the backend, the SharePoint permissions always comes very handy to control the data, to control the information that has to be visible to that guest user. So those things also can be managed and controlled by your IT admin. Okay, so there are people who are using, guest access completely as an open for their users, but from backend they have certain conditional access policies applied by Azure AD Premium, and then they decide what the file has to be, which file has to be accessed by the user and which file not. So there is one of our customer. I might not take the name of that customer, where there are more than 10,000 users, and they have this open collaboration where they invite a guest and they allow the guest users to collaborate with them in teams directly. Now it's a manufacturing company, and they have a conditional policies applied, and then they decide while creating the document, they decide if it has to be shared it has to be made public, or if it has to be made private, if it has to be made confidential. So those things can be taken care while you have some extra licensing on security. Yeah, Shivani.
Okay, so we have more questions pouring in, and we have just 2 minutes left. So, Neeraj, let's take up next question. How can we use it for virtual classroom solution?
What we can use?
Teams, how
Teams.
can we team? Yes, how can we
Okay.
use Teams virtual classroom
You
solution?
you can use it for there are lot many things that can be used in Microsoft Teams, where if you're asking it from an education perspective, then there is a different SKUs available for education purpose. We call it as A1, A3, and A5, which has more, different same what we can say, same interface, but more options for more granularity for to understand for students and the teachers. Okay, you can create assignments, you can create schedules, you can make use of forms for take a quiz, ask questions. There is a class notebook that is available, that is again at the backend it is using a OneNote application, where you can create a class wise notes and then share it accordingly, according with your students as per their grades. And then you can create, as I said, assignments are also possible. And then again, when you wanted to do some kind of a research with your staff members, so even those things are also possible. So yeah, there are different scenarios that can be done with the help of virtual classrooms. I even To frankly speaking, I am doing the virtual classroom for almost all of our customers, education partners, and so on.
Yes. So I would like to add to that, Neeraj. So we have, campaigning around teams for education. So the organizations from education backgrounds or educational institutes can reach out to us. We are offering no cost teams deployment and training. And yeah, so feel free to reach us out. So, in the interest of time, Neeraj, I guess it's time we have to wind up now. And thank you for all the information that you shared. I'm sure the features and functionalities that you showed are very, very contextual and useful in today's time. And thank you to the wonderful audience. In case we were not able to address your query in the Q&A segment, we have your questions and we will reach out to you shortly. And if you are interested to move to Teams, drop us a line at connect@embee.co.in. You can see it on your screen, and we will get back to you at the earliest. So stay safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.